things up here. Great job by our football team getting the 9 wins. That was the goal coming into the football game. We needed to focus on the moment and get that particular W. So we have an opportunity to sort of sit for 24 hours here and then get ready for Ohio State down in Columbus. And, all year long we sort of pointed to this game, or a lot of people pointed to this game. So we got to a point where it's like a playoff situation. And we knew whether we were 10-0 going into that game or 9-1 that we were going to control our own destiny. So we are to that point. I thought our football team, thought we played extremely well on defense, pressured the quarterback. I think they had a little bit over 100 yards rushing, but 5 turnovers, 2 fourth-down stops. I thought we played well on that side of the ball, and we needed to have a football game like that to sort of set the stage for this next week and be playing well coming out of this football game. Special teams, to me, was as big as anything in this football game because of William Likely, number 4 for them, and the possibilities that existed with him. So I thought Hartberger performed tremendously. Great punting execution, great coverage by our people in protection, snapping, and then our kickoff team, Kevin Cronin did the job, and we covered well down on the kickoff. And so those are 2 big things from the football game. Offensively, hey, we didn't score as many points offensively as we had. We had good field position pretty much throughout the day. But with that being said, we got the job done, come up with 24 points. Obviously, 2 big picks by Riley Bulla for the touchdown, and then another one following up by Arjun Calhoun, which sets up a field goal at the end of the first half. So that sends us in 17-7.5. But, we've played well on offense here. We've thrown the ball well. We've run the ball well. So we'll be productive in that area as well, and we'll keep moving. So I'll take some questions.
Coach, it's a little conflicting on Connor. What was the plan with the quarterback going in, and can you explain the decisions of when he came out?
Yeah, the plan was that he's our starter and he's going to play, and but I also believe that you need to take time at some point in time and bring somebody else in and allow them to have the experience. So in my mind, Mark Dantonio's mind, it was going to be the second series, and that's what we did. Now, in addition to that, he got nicked up a little bit in that first series, and so we went with him the rest of the second quarter, and then coming out the second half, though, he just didn't have the arm strength to be able to go full go, and so he was the one that said, "Hey, we got to go with the other guy," and so it was either you can do the job or you can't do the job, and so I don't think it's anything long term or anything like that, but he couldn't throw the ball effectively, so we needed to make a change at that point in time. I also felt like it was important to give Damian Terry quality reps with 8 minutes to go, because he needs both our quarterbacks, our other quarterbacks need to have game experience and have a feeling that they're at ease when they go into a football game, and I think that's very important. They don't stress. They've been in there when the game's a little bit on the line, and they have a presence. Tyler did a nice job, 2 touchdown drives, especially on the second series, and then getting us in the right play and executing in that series coming out in the third quarter. So, but we'll be all right. Connor will be all right. I don't think since there's any long-term things there, he'll probably be able to go on Tuesday. And he could have gone. I think he could have gone, but he felt like if he threw it hard that he would go. It would set him back a number of days more. I think that was more an indication. At least that's as he talked. So, got to go with that and roll with it.
Yeah, I guess I was going to ask you about that, too. Did you sense that he was in pain during some of those throws in the second quarter when he came back into the game?
No, my sense was that he just didn't have the velocity that he usually had on the football. And that was my sense. And then coming out in the third quarter, I still didn't see that. And, you got to be able to throw the ball effectively. So, I think he was functional, but he wasn't what he usually is.
Coach, you mentioned
he was functional.
Sorry. You mentioned you had left some points out there, good field position, didn't turn them into points in the first half. What were some of the biggest adjustments you felt were key in making for the second half?
Well, we came out and ran the ball at the beginning of the second half, and those are the points we got. So we put the ball on the ground twice. Great run by LJ, but you got to hold on to the football. It was a great effort. It was an effort play, and they pulled it off on the very end. But, it was about a 15-yard run probably. But he's got to learn to hold on to it in those type situations. And then, we got opportunities to make plays. We had some drops, which are uncharacteristic. And, it sort of is what it is. You guys saw it. I can't really go through every scenario. But we had great field position, and you would think that we would have done a little bit more with that. But this game is funny. I mean, you can be going very well on this end and not playing as well over here, and then it can be completely flipped. The main focus is we won the football game. We're 9-1, so we advance, we move forward. And then the second thing I think is most important, probably as important as anything, is we played well defensively, and we need to play well defensively. And, that's a confidence thing. And, it's the first time I think we put, in a while maybe that they've only had 7 points or so. And pressured the quarterback, did the things we had to do, and we made plays.
Mark, I'm curious how concerned you are, and I want to know 1 to 10 scale of Connor and his ability to make sure that he can come in this week. And also on that note, how comfortable you are with Tyler or Damian should they have to get the call next week.
Scale of 1 to 10, I think what's high and what's low. I don't, 10's high. You guys always confuse me with your questions. Does that mean I feel good about him, 10? Oh, I'm like a 9.5. I'm like a 9.5. I'm pretty confident that I think he could have. I think if we would have just chosen to run the football, he could have hung in there. But I just don't think he had the velocity on his ball that he usually has, and I think that was bothering him. That's my personal opinion. I think he was frustrated with that. So, we went in the other direction. I think in the long run, with Tyler O'Connor and Damian Terry, they need game experience. So this was a positive thing. They got game experience. They both made a couple plays. They both probably left a couple plays on the field, but they both made a couple plays as well. So that was positive too. So you take them as they come, and we're 9-1 football team. So that's the bottom line. And I think it's important that we got back up. We came out energized. We maintained that energy throughout, and we played hard. And that's all I could ever ask for, guys.
Mark, you mentioned the defense a little bit quickly, but in the secondary, when you had Hicks and Colhoun at corner and Cox and Nicholson in there at safety, they seemed to be playing really well. Would you like to lean towards maybe sticking with those 4 guys a little more or continue to rotate guys in?
Well, they're a no-huddle football team, and Ohio State's much the same. So, we're going to have to roll people in there. And, we had a lot of 3-and-outs, I felt. So, we didn't roll as much, but we've got guys that got to play. Medeiros is playing. I thought a great play in the football game was Tyson Smith's, pass breakup on the wheel route. Played it just exactly like it should be played. Came back in on it, had a chance to created an incomplete pass. Grayson was out there early on and started the football game, but we went with a little quicker guy in there in terms of Demetrius Cox in there. So, but it was good that Darian Hicks got back out there and got back in the fray of things, and I thought he played pretty well. And, Arjun played pretty well, and so I thought Monte Nicholson had a very good game, very solid game. So, but it's tough to say who played well, but can't jump off sides like we kept jumping off sides. There's a little bit more to it than just jumping off sides, I think. But you got to see the ball, but that can't happen because that set us back a number of times.
Coach, over here, Coach. Going into the Ohio State game, how nice was it to see your defense take it up a notch, especially with such a big game coming up? I mean, they hadn't been kind of the leaders.
Yeah, well, that's what I said when I came in here. So that was the focus. Defense needed to play well coming out, and we finished, and so we take that into a game with us that we played well, and we need to continue to be able to do that.
Continuing with the offsides, you don't characteristically take a ton of penalties. You had 6 penalties in the first half. 4 or 5 of them had to be offside. Only 1 penalty in the second half. So how'd you put a stop to it?
Well, we told them to look at the football, number one. I mean, you do that in Little League. But I think the quarter, we're trying to get a jump on it, and the quarterback was coming out. He was coming away from the center a little bit, and that was drawing them away. And, for whatever reason, they're a hard count team. They're going to bark and they're going to hard count, which creates a little bit of, an issue. So, but we work it, we coach it, but you got to execute it on game day. So it was frustrating for our guys too, but got it corrected in the second half.
Mark, what led you to the second series this week instead of some other week earlier in the year? What made it this week? Was there something you saw that with their offense you thought your defense could hang in?
It's the 10th week of the season. 10th week of the season. Certainly did not want to do it next week. Didn't want to do that next week, and it really didn't want to do that the last game either. But I sort of felt like something that needed to be done. I felt like it would be early in the game, early enough in the game that whatever, we could handle it. It was either going to be a 3-and-out or it was going to be a drive situation, so I felt like we'd handle it. We had good field position at the time as well.
Mark, that's a good defense you went up against today. The running backs for Michigan State got more yards after contact today than maybe we've been seeing. Would you agree with that? And do you think a light's starting to come on there with some young running backs as they gain a comfort level?
I thought we did. I thought we got good yards after contact. I thought Holmes ran well. We got London back in there for some meaningful carries. And this was his first time back, and really since the Rutgers game. So he'll only get better as he moves forward there. And then I think Delton got a carry or two, and then LJ, he put the ball on the ground, but he was productive. Just got to hold on to the football, and that'll come. He's more frustrated than anybody about it, but he'll be fine. He's a very good player.
You take two more guys. Good, Mike.
Coach, I don't think I misunderstood Tyler. He didn't know he was going in, but you knew he was going in. Why?
I'm the only person that knew.
Your coaches didn't know either then?
Nope.
And what made you decide just the test or the challenge? Or
I just felt like that's what I wanted to do. Sometimes you get to be the head coach. You can do things. I felt like it was good field position, and this was the time. This was the time. There was a reason behind it, and that's what we did.
Mark, I was wondering what was different with Cronin today compared to recent weeks. Is he getting healthier or something like that? Did you see something different in practice this week?
I'm not sure. We'll just keep it consistent. But I thought he kicked very well, and I was going to leave him alone and not mess with him. Okay, so, but I thought he did an outstanding job, and he was confident today. And I think so much of kicking is confidence. His confidence did a great job.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, guys.